Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, I'm playing for you series videos I've been doing for a little while now. I go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. If this isn't delicious, we riot. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm going to yammer on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I am inside my truck. And whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for you today? Happens to be my J-Man shirt. See, that's him. That's J-Man. But who is J-Man? His actual name, I believe, is Jason Popson. I want to say something along those lines. But yeah, his artistic name is J-Man. He is a rapper, musician, who is most commonly associated with the band Mushroomhead out of Cleveland. I'm a big Mushroomhead fan. I've been into their stuff ever since high school. I actually got into Mushroomhead when he was still in his original run with the band. He did leave for a number of years. You know, he's kind of doing his own thing and working on other stuff. But eventually came back and then seemingly has left again. Yeah, as far as I can tell. But I was actually really fortunate. A couple weeks ago, he was on tour with a band called A Killer's Confession. And they went over there and did some Mushroomhead songs and everything, and it was super fucking cool. It was actually only the second time I got to see him perform live. But I do actually have videos of that performance. They're on my channel, just in case maybe you want to check them out. If nothing else, I'd be more than happy to point you in the right direction as far as his music goes, because I think the dude's incredible. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? Why am I so jazzed that this needs to be good? Well, folks, that's because I went out to Boom, Andy's Frozen Custard, and I got myself a root beer soda freeze, I think is what the hell they called it. Which I guess, it's not a root beer float, obviously. It's definitely a different thing. And I apologize if I got the name wrong. I'll make sure to check it when I put the title card for the video. But yeah, it's got root beer. I like root beer. I like root beer so much, I have an entire playlist called Root Beer Reviews, which is just root beer related reviews. That's where this is going to end up. Let's go ahead and get this whole thing going. Because, yeah, I was like, maybe I'll hit up Andy. It's been a little while since, And I've reviewed some stuff of theirs. Let's get a thing for the thing. It looks like this. We're going to... Let's give it a go. Ooh. Yeah, that's good. It's root beery. Maybe not quite as much as I would like. I mean, for all intents and purposes, whatever they call it, it's basically just a root beer shake. And I've had root beer shakes before. I like them because they have root beer. And I like this because it has root beer. Now that said, when it comes to root beer, there's different styles and everything. And I've reviewed a lot of root beers, and I've had a lot of root beers in my life. I tend to prefer root beers a little bit harsher. Like your Barks and your Dads, ones that have, some oomph to them, a little kick behind them. Other root beers are fine too. With this, I don't know. I know that I was looking at their menu. I know that they sell Sprecher, and so I'm wondering if they use Sprecher for this. Thing is, if they do, I don't know. The problem I'm having with this, because I like it, it's good. Problem I'm having though is I don't feel like the root beer aspect is playing a big enough role. It's more of a shake than a root beer shake. And like Sprecher's is good root beer. It's not my favorite root beer, but I like it. Yeah, I think for me, I'm enjoying this. I've definitely had other incarnations of the root beer shake that I've personally preferred because I feel, again, like the root beer aspect was a little bit more forward. With this, it really is kind of more, again, more the shake, the rest of it, which is, to be fair, a very nice shake. It's really nice and thick. I like that. But yeah, it's kind of, sort of like a vanilla-ish shake with sort of a root beer essence going through it. And yeah, I was hoping for more root beer. Because, I mean, yeah, you do get a little, you definitely, like, it's there. It's not like, you're going to miss it. But I don't feel like I'm getting to appreciate it as much as I do, or as much as I'd like to. And the thing is, like, with a root beer float, you're just adding ice cream to a big old thing of root beer, so the root beer gets plenty of room to do its thing. Whereas with this, because you're incorporating it together, it's kind of like, best way I could describe it, if you took like A&W, which obviously already has sort of a vanilla vibe to it, if you just took that and amped up the vanilla, like, by like 50%, and that's kind of what it would be like. Like, it's too much of that, not enough of the oomph of the root beer. So it's good, I like it, but I have to admit, I was hoping for something a little bit more spectacular. Yeah, it's very okay. I guess that means we riot, though, doesn't it? Man, it's a shame, because, like, you can taste it. It needs more root beer. It needs that root beer to be that needs to be the star. Alright, well, 2 questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? No, and kinda-ish. For me, personally, it's not a bad thing. I like it overall, but, when it comes to root beer, it's the same thing like I have with pineapple. I love pineapple. It's one of my favorite things in the world, right? If you put pineapple prominently somewhere in the name scheme of whatever it is, I need that pineapple to be at the forefront, okay? If you don't deliver on that, I consider it a disappointment. Same thing here. Like, this is good. It's an okay, it's a decent shake and everything. Like, there's nothing bad about it in terms of its composition and, its overall flavor. But fundamentally, the root beer aspect is just so lacking. And you can't do that to me. You can't do that to Brandon Wenzel. He doesn't like it. I talk about myself in the third person. It's just, or is that first person? I don't know, man. I'm sleep deprived right now. But no, I mean, it's just, yeah, man. If it had more root beer flavor, I'd be perfectly down with it. But I think for me, I'd just get a root beer float instead, right? So, if I'm recommending it, kinda-ish. Because really what it comes down to is what do you want out of it, If you're like me, where, you're a bit of a root beer hound, this probably isn't going to do it for you. It's not a bad thing, but, But if you're more casual about it, if A&W is your favorite root beer, which to be fair, you can get really good root beer floats from A&W. But if that's your jam, it's not bad, but like, again, I just feel like, and it's not even hard to make root beer floats at home. You can use whatever root beer you want, so, yeah. Again, it's not a bad thing, but I've definitely had better stuff from Andy's, so. 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of month, stupendous rest of your year. Folks, go over there themselves a truly root beer-tastic rest of your life. Because, folks, when it's root beer, it's always root beer-tastic. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back. Try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives. Hopefully, do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, what's your take on the root beer float? Okay, are you with it with me? Or are you just a rampaging, blatant communist? I mean, man, like, I know even people I know who don't like root beer enjoy a root beer float. But, to be fair, not everybody's going to like everything. Man, I love me a root beer float. Though, to be fair, 95% of the time, I just prefer root beer straight. But then there is that 5% of the time where it's like, typically if I go to a place and I see that they have a root beer float on the menu, I'm probably going to get a root beer float. But let me know what your personal take on it is. Hit me up in the comments, all that good stuff.